Can you guys see us and hear us now? Okay, let me just quickly check. Yep, we are live and 7 people are already watching. Nice. So hi Dipen. Thank you for
Hi,
joining
hi.
in
Yeah.
and taking the last guest lecture slash lecture of this series. So we already wrapped up the usual content with Dharmesh. So only piece remaining was this asset management that we didn't touch.
Right.
Hello, Jeffrey, young man. So yeah, what's the agenda today?
So we'll see asset module in ERP next,
Mm-hmm.
basically. Yeah. So how to manage fixed assets in ERP next? That's the separate module in ERP next. So we can. I'll walk you through with the basic
Mm-hmm.
functionality of ERP assets module.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
So
you can
what's the
record.
use of this module basically, right? What are considered assets? So I know
Yeah.
when we covered accounting, we
Right.
said that okay, assets there are assets, there is liability, right?
Right. Right. So,
So
see, assets are basically part of your balance sheet, right? So, in
mm-hmm.
balance sheet, you have two things: one is an asset, one is a liability, right?
Okay.
And within assets, we have two divides: one is a current assets and one is a fixed assets. Okay,
Okay.
so current assets are your assets like stock, your account receivables, your debtors, bank balance, cash balance, loans and advances to your employees. All these are your current assets, which generally you get with, within a one financial year. And the fixed
Okay.
assets are generally the long-term assets which you buy and use for your business operations to run your business, to do your day-to-day activities of your business, and that remains with the business for more than 1 year or for multiple years. Okay, so that is
Okay.
a fixed asset. So yeah, I have full agenda. Like I'll explain that what is asset and then maybe
Cool.
definition also. So yeah, like if you want, we can start. I think
Yeah, let's start. Your screen is shared now.
yeah, yeah.
So
So yeah, thank you everyone for joining. Hi, Hussein. So I'll be
hi, hi.
covering the asset module of ERP Next. We call it
Mm-hmm.
like the module name is asset in ERP Next. It is for fixed assets, right?
Mm-hmm.
So agenda would be we will first understand what is asset, current assets, and fixed asset. Why company needs
Mm-hmm.
to maintain fixed assets, like why they
Mm-hmm.
need to manage or why they manage asset register or why they do different like depreciation. They track assets, like with
Mm-hmm.
whom that asset is lying, in which location the asset is lying, and
Mm-hmm.
there are also compliances related to asset, like you can claim certain amount of depreciation only, and you can show depreciation like this only. So that is a part of your accounting and tax related compliance also. And
Okay.
how to manage assets in ERP next, that we will explicitly see in this live, right?
Mm-hmm.
So first, let's understand what is asset. So this is the definition. Like I I took from Google, so anyone can go and Google like what is asset, and they will get this definition, right?
Mm-hmm.
The important thing here is assets are divided into two. One is a current assets and one is a fixed assets. So
Mm-hmm.
current assets are generally uh, like gets recovered or gets nullified within that financial year only. So current assets are for year only, whereas the fixed assets are for lying for multiple years, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
can give you the example like account receivable. So receivables you are going to get from your customer 3 months, 6 months, or years time. Loans
Mm-hmm.
given to your employees you will receive from employees within a years of time. Cash and bank are your current assets, right? So
Mm-hmm.
all these are part of your current asset. Whereas the fixed asset are machinery, your land, building. Those assets remain with the business for more than uh, years, like more than 1 year, right? So that is
Mm-hmm.
called as a fixed asset. So that is a basic definition. Like whichever assets is remain will with below the 1 year, that is your current assets, and above 1 year is your fixed assets. So example for
Okay.
fixed assets are land and
Mm-hmm.
building, plant and machinery, furniture and fixtures. All these are long term assets which we use to do the business operations, to run the business operations,
Okay.
right?
So
So
suppose
that
I
is
manufactured something and that is with me for more than a year. Is it considered asset or not? It won't be, right?
see. So generally, like we get this basic question, like stock is our fixed assets. No, stock is not your fixed asset, because stock, whatever you manufactured, you are supposed to sell it in 1 year, right?
Mm-hmm.
It might possible that you're not able to sell that stock in first year. Maybe it will lie multiple years, like second year or third year, but still it will be considered a current stock, because you are
Okay.
going to sell it and you are going to earn money from that. So that is your
Okay.
current asset, and you can easily go and liquidate it in market, like you can go and
Okay.
sell your stock, right? So there is
Mm-hmm.
one more definition, like if you go and easily liquidate it, it is your current asset. Okay.
Okay. So
And
fixed asset are kind of like things that are not our actual products, right? We are not going to sell them and make money out of it.
yes, they are not your actual products, and they are not going to be liquidated easily or
Mm-hmm.
immediately. Like you cannot decide, okay, tomorrow I want to sell my plant and machinery or my land and building, right? Even for selling,
Mm-hmm.
you will need lot of things, like you
Mm-hmm.
need to buy a buyer, and there are a lot of things will happen. But whereas stock, which you are using for doing your business, you will sell it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Got it.
yeah. So yeah, this is the basic difference between current assets and fixed assets, and there is a different treatment for both. Like your asset register, like the fixed asset. Why I'm calling it as a fixed asset? Your asset module will be applied to fixed asset.
Okay.
Okay. Whereas the current assets are your day-to-day business operation, right? Receivables you will get, then again you will sell to them. Again, your receivables will increase. You will
They're
give
normal part of the flow. Hmm.
small
Got it.
part of. But the fixed
Hmm.
assets are the assets which are heavy in capital investment, like plant and machinery. Like you need heavy capital to build your
Hmm.
to have the plant and machinery, to build your land and building, to have a
Hmm.
furniture and fixtures, right? So,
Hmm.
so basically, why we need to maintain an asset register or fixed asset, right, in any
Hmm.
ERP or in business, right? So first thing
Hmm.
is to know the exact value. So for example, if I bought any machinery which is crores of rupees, right?
Okay.
So I need to know the exact value, because when I use machinery, due to the wear and tear of like daily I use for production, right? Something
Hmm.
will get, and the machinery will has some life. So after say
Hmm.
10 years or 20 years, I need to buy that machinery again to continue my business, right? To
Hmm.
manufacture the items. So
Hmm.
I first thing I need to know the exact value of the asset. What is the value of the asset? Then plan my investment. Like after 10 years, I need to buy same machinery,
Hmm.
right? I have to plan my investment. Like I have to plan my business accordingly, so that after 10 years, I can buy that machinery again.
Hmm.
Okay. Third thing is depreciation. So when you buy assets, right, that is your fixed asset that you show
Hmm.
in your balance sheet side. You have not taken it as your expense. It is your
Hmm.
asset.
Hmm.
But when you use that machinery, for example, I have bought one machinery at 1 crore rupee,
Hmm.
right? And then every year I'm using that machinery, so it is getting depreciated. The wear and due to the wear and tear of that machinery, right? The value of machinery is getting reduced. So whatever
Okay.
value is getting reduced, that is my expense. Okay. So
Hmm.
that is called as depreciation. So you depreciate your value. So by 10 lakhs you have depreciated, say, this year. So that depreciation is your expense. So you will
Hmm.
claim it as your expense, so that your income will show less by that amount.
Okay.
Okay. So that's why you want to claim the expenses related to depreciation.
So
So
I
you
have a
have to
doubt here.
yeah, go ahead.
So suppose I bought a 1 crore machine, right? So I
Yeah,
created a purchase invoice for it. So
right.
that's an expense, right? 10 crore.
No, when you
Wow.
purchase asset,
Mm-hmm.
your asset account gets debited. Your expense account is not debited. You show it as your asset. It goes directly to balance sheet. You will not show it as expense in P&L. So that's the reason. That's the
Okay.
reason to depreciate the assets and claim expense. So you have
Hmm.
purchased that 1 crore asset. Then
Hmm.
first year you use that asset, and you are saying, okay, since I'm using, the life of the asset is 10 years. So after 10 years again I need to buy. So this 10 lakh rupees is gone, right? Like this is my
Hmm.
expense. So
Hmm.
then you depreciate asset with the 10 lakh rupees, and that is your expense. So you can treat it as your expense, and you show it as your in profit and loss for,
Hmm.
as expense.
Okay.
So that is a
Got it.
depreciation. That's why you need to do a depreciation for your fixed asset.
Hmm.
And the last thing is compliance, right? So like when you buy a lot of assets, right, you cannot like depreciate or like you asked, right, I can show it as
Hmm.
my expense. So, no, you cannot show everything as your expense. So like government or tax authority doesn't allow you to show everything as your expense. Like they
Hmm.
will say, okay, you have bought this machinery, right, you are going to use for next 10 years. So how can be 1 crore would be first year expense, right? On
Hmm.
first year, how can you show the whole amount 1 lakh 1 crore as your expense? So they
But we
ask,
paid,
okay,
right? No.
right?
But
Sorry,
we paid 1 crore, right?
you paid, but that is your asset. You are going to use it for next 10 years.
Okay.
So that's the reason government says or accounting says that you are going to use for next 10 years. Every year you claim 10% depreciation and show it as your expense.
Okay.
So compliance is also there. Like for
Mm-hmm.
each different assets, there are compliances. Like you can maximum claim 30% depreciation, 50% depreciation. For example, car. Even for
Hmm.
individual, right? We like earlier when we used like when people used to file the income tax returns, individual income tax returns. They used to buy cars and they used to show the depreciation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So depreciation also you can buy up to 30%, like max 30%. So compliance is there. Like you cannot
Hmm.
show like, tomorrow you will say, okay, I bought this machinery for this much amount, so this year I am making loss. No, government will say, okay, certain percentage you will show as your expense,
Hmm.
the other will be shown as an asset. So still you have a
Hmm.
profit to pay the taxes. So
Hmm.
that's the compliance part is also there.
Okay.
Okay, and the correct representation in your financial statement that you are showing exact value. See, sometimes what happens if you are not showing the exact value. For example, you have bought this machinery at 1 crore, and even after using 5 years you are showing it as a 1 crore. So that is also wrong representation. You are showing wrong uh, financial statement. So that
Hmm.
means you after using 5 years, your asset value is reduced by 50%. So 50
Hmm.
lakhs is already reduced. So your
Hmm.
assets are only 50 lakhs. So that is also
Hmm.
financial statement. So in balance sheet, it will show only 50 lakhs.
Okay.
Okay. So these are the compliances, these are the financial statement. That is how you have to show. So all these things makes businesses to have fixed asset module or maintain the fixed asset. Okay, that's
Mm-hmm.
the reason they need to maintain the fixed asset in the some ERP or somewhere in the system, and they need to maintain the fixed asset register. That is called fixed asset register. That is a proper register where they list out all their assets with certain IDs. So each asset gets some ID. Like I have name, right, Dipen. So
Hmm.
each asset, like each machinery, each laptop, each building will have some ID, unique ID.
Hmm.
And then what is the what was the actual value, what was depreciated, what is the current value, what is the location, everything they need to maintain in that asset register, because that
Okay.
asset register they have to present to the authorities as and when they ask.
Okay.
Okay,
Got it.
so let's see asset module in ERP next. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so there are different reasons, right? Like for example, we are IT company, right? We everyone
Hmm.
has a laptop, right? So
Hmm.
we don't have plant and machinery, but laptops are high value items, right? So
Hmm.
our accounts team also tracks, right, which laptop is with whom at what
Hmm.
location, right?
Hmm.
When you leave organization, they collect this laptop from you because that is an asset,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? This is a high value item, and they also maintain this register, like who is holding that asset, at what location that asset is lying. So all
Hmm.
these things can be maintained if you are having some system in place, or if you are having some ERP or something to manage that. And the assets are like the number of assets are huge in business, right? For example, if we
Hmm.
take our example, if you're an IT company, we have hundreds of laptops, right?
Hmm.
So, so same way we have other items also, like printers and other things. Similarly, if
Hmm.
manufacturing company, they will not have only one or two machinery. They have hundreds
Hmm.
of machinery. They will have hundreds of furnitures, buildings,
Hmm.
plants, all these things.
Hmm.
So to maintain each assets, safety of each assets, they need some solution, something to maintain it easily. So that's the reason they look for some ERP or some solution where they can maintain it easily.
Hmm.
So ERPNext has asset module separately. Like ERPNext is a complete ERP. Within that, we have a separate asset module.
Okay.
Okay. which is integrated with our account module. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll walk you through with the now in the system directly. So we'll
Cool.
start like see asset module in ERP next. Okay. So if you see the left hand side, we have a asset as a separate tab, which means that is
Mm-hmm.
a module. Like we have other modules like selling, buying stock.
Mm-hmm.
So asset is a separate module in ERP
Okay.
next. Okay. We call it as a asset module only, not fixed asset. Many times people search for fixed asset because it is called fixed asset in other ERP. But in
Mm.
ERP next, we call it as a asset module.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's see first the what are the masters and settings required to configure the assets, and we'll see
Mm-hmm.
the flow of like we'll purchase the assets, and then we'll see whole flow of depreciation and other things, right?
Okay.
So I'll explain. So first, or like now I explained, right? We have number of
Mm-hmm.
assets, right? You need
Mm.
to you have thousands of assets in a business, right?
Mm.
So like in ERP next, each for creating assets, you need to create it as an item master.
Mm.
Okay, so that you can track the number of assets easily. Okay, so now I'll
Mm-hmm.
just create say laptop as my asset. Okay, and here when you're creating a asset item, you have to
Mm-hmm.
make sure this you're unchecking this maintain unstock. Once you
Okay.
uncheck this maintain unstock, you will see the one new checkbox that is called is fixed asset. That means this
Mm-hmm.
is a fixed asset item.
Okay.
The laptop is my fixed asset item. It can be possible like I'm doing the business in laptop, so laptop is my stock item also, and laptop is my asset also. So I'll
Okay.
create two different items,
Makes sense.
right? So is
Mm-hmm.
asset, and then other settings are there like auto create assets on purchase. This I'll explain what is this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when we do a purchase, create group assets. I will also explain this what is create group assets. The
Mm-hmm.
first thing which you have to select here is asset category. That is another master. Okay,
Mm.
so in asset category, that is another master, another doc type asset category where you define all the defaults related to that asset category, like
Mm.
default fixed asset account, accumulated depreciation account,
Mm.
depreciation account, and if it is a capital working progress account, then that will also define here. So this is
Mm-hmm.
another master where we just define the defaults, okay, and we do a basic settings. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So what is
So
this
coming
capital
back
work
to
in
here,
progress?
I've selected.
No, in the last
Yeah, yeah.
form.
I'll explain. First, I'm explaining the basic flow
Cool, cool, cool.
because there are two, three flows are there, like group
Mm-hmm.
assets and then capital work in progress. I'll explain both. So first, now
Mm-hmm.
we are seeing the basic simple one.
Okay,
Okay.
fine.
Item group, you can create separate group whatever you want, or you can select
Mm-hmm.
it as a products or whatever. Like groups, you can create, right? So I've
Mm-hmm.
selected the office equipment and then I'll select the naming series. Now, what will happen when I purchase this asset laptop, right?
Mm-hmm.
For example, I have purchased 10 laptops, right?
Mm-hmm.
I should know like which laptop is with whom. So I need to give specific name or identity to that laptop. So each
Mm-hmm.
laptop will have ID, right?
Mm.
If you have seen that laptops have serial numbers, right? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
similarly now, if I have purchased laptop, I will give that laptop some ID,
Okay.
right? So this is that ID,
Naming series.
okay?
Okay, got
And
it.
auto create asset on purchase means asset will get created automatically, or I want to create it manually. So right now
Okay.
I checked auto create. So when we do
Mm-hmm.
a purchase of 10 laptops, system will
Mm-hmm.
create 10 IDs of asset.
Got it.
Okay, asset is another master. Okay, that
Mm-hmm.
will get created automatically. For
Got it.
creating that master, first we need an item master. So I just configuring the item master right
Got it.
now. I'm just saving it.
The name is taken. Maybe let's call it office laptop or something.
Yeah.
Uh, Office. Yep.
Okay, so now we created the asset master. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from that, we have like asset category. I already explained. We'll come back again on asset category. There are few
Mm-hmm.
settings related to assets, which is there in account setting. I'll explain that. And
Mm-hmm.
uh, so in account settings, we have
Mm-hmm.
settings related to assets. that is here,
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
calculate daily depreciation using total days in depreciation. This I will explain again. Okay,
Mhm.
this basically says like some companies do depreciation based on number of days in the month. So for example,
Mhm.
this is a February month, right? So they will
Mhm.
deduct depreciation for 28 days, and next month
Mhm.
in March they will deduct the depreciation for 31 days. Then
Mhm.
next month in April they will deduct the depreciation for 30 days.
13 days.
So
Mhm.
if they want days wise depreciation, each month depreciation would be different.
Mhm.
Okay, and book asset depreciation entry automatically. Like in ERPNext, we have a functionality that depreciation entry will also get booked automatically. So we'll come back
Mhm.
to this again. And there are few settings like defaults you can set in company master,
Mhm.
company doc type. So this is my company doc type in which
Mhm.
I can set all the default related to assets.
Mhm.
Okay, so fixed asset related defaults are set here so that every time I need not have to set. Otherwise, if I'm not setting here, I have to make sure I've set in asset category or I have to select while doing a transaction. So here you can set all your defaults.
Mhm. Got it.
Okay. So yeah. So I'm also setting other accounts and I'll just save it.
Cool.
Okay. Now let's see. We have seen the masters and basic configuration in
Mhm.
company master. Okay.
Got
Let's
it.
move to the transaction part. Now the transaction flow would be can be same like we are buying any items, right?
Mhm.
So we can buy like we can raise a purchase order to buy the assets, and then the
Mhm.
supplier will supply that material, and then we will do the purchase invoice. So we can do
Got it.
purchase order, purchase invoice, same flow. Let's do
Mhm.
that. So I'm buying 10 quantity. Okay,
Okay.
at 1
1
lakh
lakh.
rupees each.
Got it.
Okay, yeah. So and one more thing you have to define here when you are buying an asset item, you have to define the
Mhm.
location. So that is in detail section. Just
Maybe
this
it
is a
will be
purchase
in
order, so
invoice.
I'll
Yeah.
define it in
Got it.
yeah invoice. Yeah. So yeah, so I'm just saving and submitting. So we created normal like any buying process we are doing. Same like I created
Mhm.
purchase order. Then I'll be
Okay.
creating purchase
Purchase invoice.
receipt.
Receipt. Receipt.
Purchase receipt or directly purchase invoice also with update stock checkbox. Okay,
Yep.
that is also possible. So I'm just showing purchase receipt right now, and here we have to define the location.
Now we have to define it.
So
Cool.
at the asset location is a mandatory. Okay.
Got it.
So location is basically your factory. If you have multiple offices, so for example, I have two offices, Mumbai and Delhi. So this asset is lying in which office, which factory. So that's the reason location is important and it is
Got it.
mandatory. Okay.
So it
Now
is not, it
clicking
is different
save.
from warehouse, right?
Yeah, it is different from warehouse because this asset will not be showing in warehouse. This is not our
Okay.
stock. Okay. So
Okay.
this asset will be showing at what location. This will not come in inventory report. So
Hmm.
this will not go in any warehouse.
Okay. Got it. But the machine can be at the warehouse, physically.
Yeah. Physically can be at the warehouse if I need that for packing. Okay. Now you
Okay.
can see the message 10 assets created for office laptop. So system
Okay.
created 10 assets. Okay.
Okay.
So let's see that. So asset is a separate doc type. So I'm just going on assets. So these are the
Mm-hmm.
10 laptops got created.
Okay.
Okay. And
Nice.
whatever ID name and assets name I can set, that will get created, right?
Hmm.
So this is my asset, which is a separate master got created based on my purchase. If you see the purchase invoice receipt number, date, and gross purchase amount. For each asset,
Mm-hmm.
it is a 1 lakh rupees,
Mm.
right? So this asset
Got it.
got created. Now we'll come back to this again. I'll just finish few things here. So now
Mm-hmm.
we created this purchase receipt. Generally, when you purchase a material, right, your stock receipt but not billed account gets credited and your stock in hand account gets debited. But here,
Mm.
the accounting will be little different.
Mm. How?
So here, your office equipment, which is your fixed asset account, which is your asset account in balance sheet, got
Mm.
debited, and asset
Mm.
received but not billed account got credited. This is liability
Okay.
account, which will
Mm-hmm.
get nullified once we do the purchasing. But
Got it.
your fixed asset account got debited instead of
Mm-hmm.
stock asset account or inventory account. Okay, so that is a one thing. And now in version 15, you can see now we are also doing same like stock, right? Earlier we used to not book this entry on purchase receipt. Now we are
Mm-hmm.
maintaining the asset receipt but not the account, liability account also.
Got it.
So now we'll create a purchase invoice.
Hi, Blender Forever. How is it going?
Okay, so purchase
Yeah.
invoice would be same,
Mm-hmm.
save and submit. Okay, here no asset related impact will go, only thing
Mm-hmm.
accounting impact will go, so that we will see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, your your creditor account got booked.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and asset receipt but not billed account got debited with 10,000, and your TDS, if TDS is applied here. Okay, because
Mm.
okay, so just ignore this TDS part. The asset
Mm-hmm.
receipt but not billed account got debited, right? So
Mm.
this got nullified and a creditor got booked with 10 lakh rupees.
Got it.
Okay, same entry like your purchase. Now here your purchase part is completed. You've done the
Mm-hmm.
purchase of this item. Okay. Now let's move to the asset. So once you
Mm.
create an asset, right, you have,
Mm.
this is your asset document which is in draft mode, right?
Mm.
Why it is in draft mode? Because you have to put some dates here, right? So generally what happens when you buy asset, it's not necessary like when you bought 10 laptops, from
Mm.
day one all 10 laptops will be in use, right?
Mm.
It might possible two laptops you will use to some employees today, some
Mm-hmm.
laptops you will issue after 2 months, right, after
Mm.
3 months. So your depreciation will also start from when you are actually using that laptop. You cannot
Okay.
say, okay, I purchased on 11th Feb, so I'll start depreciating it from 11th Feb. Your
Got
depreciation
it.
means you have started using that asset and it is
Mm-hmm.
started, the value of the asset is starting reduced. Okay,
Mm.
so that's the reason that is called available for use date. In accounting terms, it is called available for use date. Means
Okay.
from where you are starting using that asset, and from
Mm.
there, from that date, your depreciation will start.
Depreciation will be calculated.
Okay,
Got it.
in this
Mm.
in this case, like let's see that seven number asset we are issued to someone from today only started using it, right?
Mm.
So I put the available to use date of today's. Then I have other configurations like where I'll select the calculate depreciation. If I want to calculate depreciation, right, for this asset, I'll click on calculate depreciation. I'll select the depreciation method. Okay, now
Mm.
there are different depreciation methods. Okay, first is a straight line method. Straight line method means, like say I will depreciate every year 10%. So
Okay.
10% of 1 lakh is 10,000, right? So
Mm.
every year 10,000 will get reduced. So
Okay.
1 lakh minus 10,000, 90,000, then 90,000 minus 10 lakh, 10,000, 80,000,
Mm.
like that. Then we have written down value. So what in written down value, what happens? The percentage would be 10 only. So first year what will happen? You will reduce 10%, so 90,000 will become, right. Then the 10% of 90,000.
Instead of
So
1 lakh. Got it. Mm.
yeah, instead of 1 lakh, it will reduce the 90,000, 10%, 9,000. So your value would be 81,000. Then next
Mm-hmm.
year 81, 10% of 81,000, then 8,100, like
Got it.
that. That is called written down value. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so we are using the asset model. They know this, what is straight line method, what is written
Mm-hmm.
down value, what is double decline balance, or
Mm-hmm.
manually, right? So generally these two are used, straight line and double written down. So I'll just select the straight line for
Mm-hmm.
understanding. Now the total number of depreciation. Okay, now this is again defined based on asset to asset. Like say, uh, laptops are generally assumed that will remain only for 3 years or 1 year. So
Mm-hmm.
if I assume the life of the asset is only 1 year, I will define here 12 months. This is in months, total number, this field is in months. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
if you keep cursor here, that will also show. So 12
Mm-hmm.
months. And frequency of depreciation. Now what generally business do, they do depreciation every month, so that they come to know they can claim their expenses, and they can show their statement every month. Like when they are closing their books every month, this month depreciation should also get booked, right?
Got it.
So that's the way they set the frequency of depreciation every month. So every month they book a depreciation, even though depreciation is for year, but the breakup of like that 12 months will be booked each month. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and the depreciation posting date. Here you can set this when you want to post, like 30th April. So generally every month end date only everyone will post. Every company post. Okay, and then there are other things like salvage value is basically, for example, even after depreciating this asset full, you are going to get something from this asset. So that is your
Mm-hmm.
salvage value. Like that is a salvage percentage, that like 10% of this asset will remain there. So that you can define as salvage value percentage. Okay, and then there are other two. These two I'll come back again.
Mm-hmm.
These two I'll show it. These two checkboxes. What is the use of this? Okay.
Okay.
So let's click on save and submit. Yeah. So yeah,
Oh,
this
it's
is the
24,
yeah. It's,
2024. Ah,
so we have to select the today's date. I'll just select 28. Okay. So now
got
we
it.
have bought it 11 Feb. So let's save it. Okay.
Hmm.
Now what system is saying, asset depreciation schedule is created. Now system will
Okay.
create one schedule. Let's see that. Okay, this is a schedule of my depreciation. On
Hmm.
28th Feb, 55357 would be depreciation.
Hmm.
Okay. Now the setting which I was explaining, right? When you want day wise
Hmm.
depreciation, right? So this is the depreciation, like for this month only we like depreciation would be like today is a 11 Feb, right? So
Hmm.
already 10 days are gone, 11 days are
Hmm.
gone. So
Hmm.
it will depreciate only for remaining days. Okay, and similarly for
Hmm.
last month, if you see the last, it will depreciate only for 11 days.
But it didn't take into account like 1 or 2 day difference.
Right? Why that didn't take? Because we have not checked this. I'll just go back. Depreciation based on daily pro rata. If we have
Okay.
checked this, it would have.
Hmm.
So that's the reason I am not saying, like I'm just first explaining you the
Hmm.
uh,
Hmm.
basic.
Hmm. Got it.
I'll just- So every month is same,
Hmm.
right? Apart
Hmm.
from first and last month, because first month we purchased in the mid of the month, and last month because it will depreciate only for last 11 days. So first
Got
and
it.
last other months are, you're seeing 8.333 every month same, even though it is 31st or 30th month,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So now this is a depreciation schedule which got created automatically. User don't have to do anything. This gets created automatically. And now every month my depreciation entry will also happen automatically. So we'll do that entry right now. So I'll go back in on asset. I'll just submit this asset. Okay, we submitted the asset. Now the asset is got submitted. So now we cannot make any changes. This means
Mm-hmm.
you have started, like you have submitted this asset. This is now live. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see the depreciation schedule in asset doc type also.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Earlier, we used to show the depreciation schedule here, and this was a editable table. But now
Mm-hmm.
we have like creating a separate doc type asset depreciation schedule, and there you can make other changes. So I'll show
Mm-hmm.
those how to make those changes. Right now, since
Mm-hmm.
I want to do this month depreciation now, okay, so what I can do, I can go here and like if I want to do it manually, I can mark it as a make depreciation now. So I'll show it that also right now. So this is
Mm-hmm.
how your asset got created. So similarly, now 10 assets, which are you have a 10 assets, right? So those 10 assets will be submitted like this only. Okay, now just
Mm-hmm.
to show you the depreciation part, I'll just quickly create. Okay, I'll just create. I'll take the another asset where we will do pro rata basis. Okay, now
Mm-hmm.
here you will see that is based on number of days 8493, 8219. Then based on number of days of the month. Right, this is a March
Mm-hmm.
month, so it is 200 higher than this is April month. Then again May month you will see, then June month, right?
Got it.
And this is database. So this is based on number of days of the month.
Mm-hmm.
This is the use of that checkbox. Now, coming back to asset part, yeah. So this is how your assets will get created, and then the depreciation will get booked. Okay, I'll show it how to book the depreciation manually also and automatically. Now, since I
Mm-hmm.
have submitted that asset, right? Now every
Mm-hmm.
month, now the depreciation date is right. This is at 28th Feb, right? So after
Mm-hmm.
28th Feb, one job will run and
Mm-hmm.
depreciation will get booked for the Feb month.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We create one asset for past date so that we can do the depreciation for past months like April, May, June of 24. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how your assets will get created.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, uh, so we saw the purchase cycle, we saw the asset creation, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll see CWIP asset. Okay, capital work in progress. What is capital work in progress and that asset, and then we'll see
Mm-hmm.
other this entries. Okay, and
Got it.
so now we understood this basic simple assets. Okay, now we'll see capital work in progress assets. So I'll create one
Mm-hmm.
more item. Okay, plant and machinery.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I can give groups. We can create whatever we want, right? I will say this is a is fixed asset. Auto create assets on purchase. Okay, asset category. I'll select here. I'll create let's a new category with the name plant and machinery. I enable this. Enable capital work in progress accounting. Okay, I'll explain what is that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just define here the fixed asset account. So all your account created in chart of account will flow here. You will select
Mm-hmm.
here depreciation account and CWIP account, capital work in progress. That is the full
Mm-hmm.
form of CWIP. Okay, we created the asset category and we can select
Mm-hmm.
the naming.
Okay.
Okay, I clicked on save. Let's do the purchase of this asset. I'm directly doing purchase receipt, not doing the purchase order.
Mm-hmm.
So capital work in progress means capital work in progress, that you have bought the machinery, but machinery will not be installed in the day one, right? Like you need time,
Mm-hmm.
like you need technician will come, he will feed that machinery, you need to make changes in your factory, right? Lot of
Mm-hmm.
construction, all these things. So okay, so let's buy one asset of, okay, 10 lakh rupees assets we are buying, plant and machinery. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we have to find the location also.
Got it.
Okay, so this entry got saved. Now an asset also got created. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
now we'll see accounting impact. Okay, here instead of plant and machinery account, our CWIP account got debited, right? Another entry is correct, asset receipt but not bill. But here
Mm-hmm.
we selected the plant and machinery, right? And in asset category also we have tagged the plant and machinery account, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that is not getting debited. So what
Mm-hmm.
government says or what compliances says, when you are
Mm-hmm.
installing machinery, right? When you are buying machinery, don't show
Mm-hmm.
it as assets, okay? Because that is a CWI. Once it gets installed, once you start using it, then it show it as your assets. Till then, you show it capital work in progress, okay? In
Mm-hmm.
your balance sheet also. So your investor, your all the authorities will come to know, okay, this is CWIP. This is not your asset.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if I go to balance sheet, right, I'm on balance sheet. I'll move to the asset part. Here in this CWIP is showing 10 lakh 1000, which has this 10 lakh rupees.
Okay.
Okay, this
Mm-hmm.
will be part of your same group, but it will not shown as a plant and machine, it will show as a capital work in progress.
Got it.
Okay, now, so I booked this CWIP, I will also book the purchase invoice against this,
Mm-hmm.
right? So what I'll do, I'll create a purchase invoice. Okay, I've done the purchase invoice. Again, the same entry like your asset receipt but not bill account will get nullified here. Okay, but still it will show as a CWIP only. Okay, your creditor will
Mm-hmm.
get and asset receipt but not bill account will debit it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
still it is showing CWIP account. Why?
CWIP didn't uh, get
Yeah,
debited.
yeah. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because the asset still you have not installed, you have not started using it, right? So now let's go to the asset. This is a plant machinery. Okay, now you will do the installation, you will do whatever changes you have to do, whatever construction you have to do in factory, your technician will come, engineer will come. So generally it
Mm-hmm.
takes 2 3 6 months to get installed, right?
Okay.
So till whatever next 6 months it will be remain in CWIP account. Once I say okay, I have installed, I have started using it, I'll put my available for use date.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, after 3 months, so assuming this I have bought in April, after six
Mm-hmm.
months say on today or December month, I will say
Mm-hmm.
available for use date is December. So
Okay.
till December it will show as a CWIP, and when I put this available for use date, and then I'll do this all this configuration related to depreciation.
Hmm.
Total number of depreciation say 60, and
Hmm.
this asset has a 5 years life.
Hmm.
Okay, and other configuration like if you want to put the salvage percentage and all these things, you can do that.
Hmm.
I'll just save. So depreciation schedule will get created, and
Hmm.
posting date is
There is some
getting,
bug maybe. Hmm.
yeah, it is getting set auto blank. Sure.
Hmm.
Okay, now if you, now that account was in CWIP, right? Once you
Hmm.
submitted this entry, there will be accounting impact. You can go and check view general ledger. Now it will move from CWIP. So your CWIP account got created and your plant and machinery account got debited. Okay,
Hmm.
so this means you cannot show asset which you have purchased directly in fixed asset, your
Hmm.
against your asset account, right? You have to show it as a CWIP, capital working capital. And once you do the installation and everything, you can show it as a asset. Okay,
Hmm.
so this is generally applicable to plant and machinery, building and building furniture and fixtures, which take longer period of time to get
Hmm.
installed and ready to be used. Okay,
Okay.
so this
Hmm.
CWIP concept applies to such
Hmm.
assets. Okay, so we have CWIP thing in ERPNext. Okay,
Hmm.
so now if you go and check this balance sheet, the CWIP account will show 0, and against plant and machinery, it will show the 10 lakh. Okay, so this is the
Got
use
it.
of CWIP in asset
Hmm.
category. Okay,
Hmm.
now we have seen one more thing in assets, so that I'll show, and then I'll come back to this opening of assets, so that I'll cover these three things there. Okay, so
Okay.
we have
Okay.
one more thing added in version 14. Okay,
Hmm.
like uh, when I was creating these assets, right?
Hmm.
I thought there was one checkbox,
Which one?
or create group assets. This one,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? This checkbox you get when you click on this auto create asset. Now I'll explain what is the use of this create group
Hmm.
assets. Okay,
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
let's say office chair. Okay, this is the
Hmm.
item which you are going to buy.
Hmm.
Okay, now say we are buying 50 chairs for our office. Okay,
Okay.
now like I would not like to maintain each chair as a ID, like uh,
Yeah.
separate ID, right? So what I'll do,
Hmm.
I'll create a group of 50 chairs as a one asset. Okay,
Okay.
how I'll
Got it.
explain the use case. For example, if you are seeing this all these departmental stores, right?
Hmm.
DMart or Walmart or any malls, right? They are having
Hmm.
racks, right? They have those racks in lakhs, right?
Hmm.
If they are going to maintain each rack as a separate ID, their asset register will be huge, right?
Hmm.
So they do what they do, they group those assets in one asset. So like
Hmm.
I have thousands of racks, thousands of bags, thousands of different items, right? So those items gets grouped in one item.
Got it.
Yeah. So that is a grouping. So we'll see how this gets created. I'll select office equipment. So what we are seeing, right? Delivery boys are coming to our home for delivering
Hmm. Hmm.
materials, right? They are having one
Hmm.
bag, right?
Hmm.
Those bags are assets.
Hmm.
Those are not expenses. Those bags are
Hmm.
treated as a assets by those companies, and they have to maintain each bag. So they don't maintain each bag; they maintain group
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
bags. So I'll just select here office chair. Okay, now we are creating 50 chairs, right? So it should
Hmm.
create 50 separate IDs, right? It will not create 50 separate IDs, it will create one uh, ID.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
instead of creating 50 separate IDs, system created one asset, right?
Hmm.
Right, we can go on asset. Okay, this is the asset. Here it will show you the asset quantity 50.
Hmm.
Okay, the total value is 2,50,000. Purchase, all this information, quantity is 50. Okay,
Hmm.
so now other options are there, splitting, like say I splitted this 25 from this. Okay, I sold this out of 55 chairs, or I
Hmm.
scrapped 5 chairs. All these options
Hmm.
are there. You can
Hmm.
also split, like
Hmm.
say I have like I have two stores. I have
Hmm.
transferred out of this 50 20 to another store, so I need to split, right? So those
Hmm.
splitting and other options are already there in ERP. Okay, the
Got
other
it.
process is the same, like you will put available to use a depreciation. So for all these 50 grouped one chair, the depreciation will happen.
Hmm.
Okay,
There is a question in chat.
so yeah, this is grouping. Yeah,
Is grouping of assets
can
good
you repeat?
strategy? Yeah, yeah, is grouping of assets good
Huh.
strategy for when you create an asset register for an established company?
So grouping of assets is good for the companies who have large number of such assets. So for example, I've given the examples, right? This departmental, like e-commerce companies and these unicommerce companies who have dark stores and other things, or delivery
Mm-hmm.
companies, right? So they
Mm-hmm.
have to maintain this lakhs of bags, lakhs of racks as a assets. So they will use, because their asset register will be uh, shorter, like
Mm-hmm.
otherwise they have to maintain the asset register for each item. So for such companies, so
Mm-hmm.
even for the companies like big IT companies,
Mm-hmm.
they will not maintain each laptop as a separate assets, because they will buy assets in laptops in thousands. They will
Mm-hmm.
create one asset, right? So that is also possible. So it depends on customer to customer how they want to maintain. Like they want to track each unit of that asset, then they will not group it. But such low value and high number assets can be grouped. That
Mm-hmm.
is for sure.
Makes sense. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Now coming back to depreciation entry, assets movement, and opening assets. So let's first go to the opening assets. Okay, so that I'll be able to explain these entries there on also.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Cool.
so now when any customer is moving to ERP next, any mid of the year or any new financial year, right? And they have a
Mm-hmm.
business, they have assets, right? So they will not create a purchase order, purchase receipt, purchase invoice, and then their assets will not get created automatically. Okay, so for openings, like openings of accounts, they will use the journal entry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, through journal entry, they will update the opening balance of all fixed asset account.
Mm-hmm.
Like other openings, we are updating current assets, current liability. The same way, like what I'll do, I'll select here opening entry. Here I'll select the is opening. Okay, here I'll select the plant and machinery, and I'll say whatever balance I have, right? 1 crore, 2 crore, or 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, whatever. I'll define here, I'll select the temporary opening account. That is the process of uh, how you can add the openings, right? This is the process of adding openings related to account. So
Mm-hmm.
account opening will be added here. But like
Mm-hmm.
this 10 lakhs opening, I have different assets ID, right? I have
Mm-hmm.
machine 1, machine 2, machine 3, their laptop 1, laptop 2, laptop 3. Those assets also I need to create. So for that,
Mm-hmm.
we'll go to the asset doc type. But for
Okay.
accounting opening, you will use general entry. This is very
Hmm.
clearly mentioned in documentation also. When we take certification, I generally ask this question, and
Hmm.
I see 90% people are not able to answer this question.
Hmm.
Like they will say, okay, I'll create asset, but they are not able to answer how they will upload the accounting. So that's the reason I shown specifically here, right?
Hmm.
So yeah. So now, since I have received, like I have a openings, I can go directly on asset doc type.
Hmm.
There is a checkbox called is existing asset.
Hmm.
Okay, so like I have a plant one, machinery one, whatever.
Hmm.
I can select that plant and
Hmm.
machinery. Okay, I'll say select the location, then asset owner. This is a field. Okay,
Hmm.
and then I'll put the other information, accounting related and purchase. So this is say this is 2 years back or 4 years back, right? Because this might have purchased 4, 5 years back, right? When I was using any other legacy system, right? This might be
Hmm.
very old. So whatever purchase date you have to define, then gross purchase amount, all these things you have to define.
Hmm.
Okay, and the available to use date, all these things you will define. So I'll just show. So say assuming this is 22, the gross purchase amount was 1 lakh, right? Available to
Hmm.
use date was also same. Okay. Now I'll say calculate depreciation, opening accumulated depreciation. So from last to like September to like 22, 23, 23, 24, those 2 years depreciation should have already been done, right? So I'll say,
Hmm.
okay, two depreciations are already done and 50,000 is already depreciated,
Hmm.
right? This is how you can update your existing assets.
Got it.
Okay, and then you will say like whatever remaining depreciation are there, that will happen here. Now it's a 12 1. Okay, and I'll select
Hmm. So this is useful for migrating existing
existing
assets
asset.
to the system.
Yeah.
Got it.
Let's go ahead to not sure. I'll check this error. Total number of depreciation. This is already 12.
Try 10 maybe. 11. Hmm.
This is in months. So wait, I'll just make it 36.
Probably the date. No, right? It's 25. Okay.
Yeah, there might be like I'll need to check whatever is there.
Total
So
number. Yeah. Cool.
yeah, so this is how you can update your existing assets in system. Okay,
Hmm.
I'll create one more asset but with little
Hmm.
changes. I'll just quickly change. Let's do it step 3. Okay, assuming this is a 1,20,000
Hmm.
and depreciation, we have not done any depreciation. This is this month, this year asset only. I forgot to add this in my system. Okay,
Okay.
this is I added 1st April. 1st April, 1,20,000 was the purchase value, and
Hmm.
there is no opening accumulated depreciation. There is no depreciation, right? So now, just to show you the how depreciation entry gets booked, I'm just doing this
Hmm.
12 1 and this. Okay, our depreciation schedule got booked. Okay, Now we can
Hmm.
go and check depreciation schedule.
Hmm.
Okay, so on okay, yeah, sorry, I'll just cancel and amend.
Oh, you wanted today's date instead.
I wanted previous date, like April, because I want to show how depreciation is getting booked.
Hmm.
Okay, so past date I wanted to select. So I'll just select.
Hmm.
So it is showing like on 30th April 24, 10,000 should get booked, right? Now
Hmm.
here, since in settings I have set this depreciation should happen automatically, but this is like just how created, right? I created the depreciation.
Hmm.
So if I don't do anything, system will automatically create a depreciation for every month once that job
Hmm.
will get triggered. But now I want to show it manually. So here there
Hmm.
is a button called make depreciation entry. Okay,
Hmm.
when you click on make depreciation entry, system will create the depreciation entry. This general entry
Hmm.
got created automatically.
Hmm.
So your accumulated depreciation account got created and your depreciation account got debited. So depreciation account is
Hmm.
your expense account, which will shown
Hmm.
in profit and loss expense side. So now your
Hmm.
10,000 got booked as an expense, and
Hmm.
accumulated depreciation is a subgroup sub item of your assets. So your asset
Hmm.
value got reduced by 10,000. Okay.
Got it.
So
Hmm.
likewise, I can book depreciation manually also. So if
Hmm.
some company says, okay, we don't want auto depreciation in ERPNext, can we do it
Hmm.
manually? So we show them how to do it manually. So this is how you
Hmm.
can do it manually. So this
Hmm.
every month, whenever depreciation will happen automatically, also you will see the general entry number here. Okay.
Hmm.
So here you can define the general entry, and you can define the general entry also in company master. Like you can define the what series you want. Like you, if you
Hmm.
want something else this series, you can define that also. Okay, and this is
Hmm.
how you can book your depreciation. Okay,
Hmm.
now this is what I wanted to show, like how depreciation is gets booked in ERP next. So I'll just show here, uh,
Hmm.
okay. And that is how your depreciation, like assets value, gets reduced every month.
Got it. Hmm.
Okay.
There is a question by Tariq in the chat. If we are using return down value method and
Yeah.
using a 10% rate,
Hmm.
why do we need to tell ERP next the number of depreciations?
So generally, you know, right? Like what is the life of that assets.
Hmm.
So that's the reason you need to define like number of depreciations that
Hmm.
asset, like that is the life of the assets.
Hmm.
So that's
No,
the reason.
so I think they're asking like it should automatically go till zero. I think that is what they're expecting, right? And it should
So even
calculate
in
the number of.
written down value, there is some value always remains because
Hmm.
last you will have some value. In straight line
Hmm.
method, it goes to zero.
Hmm.
But I think total number of depreciation you define because the life of the asset you know at the start of when you buy the assets, and that is how you
Hmm.
plan your depreciation also.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So that's the reason for that. Okay. So
Got
now
it.
coming back to asset doc type, we will see whatever general entries that get books. You will also see here, and from here also you can go to the that uh, asset. Okay.
Hmm. Got it.
Now, yeah. So we saw like how you can add the opening assets.
And
Okay, and
depreciation
depreciation
entry.
also. Okay. Now, what is asset movement and other transaction related to that? We'll see.
Hmm.
So asset
Okay.
movement is basically when you are transferring assets from one location to another location.
Got
Okay.
it.
So we have separate doc type for that asset movement doc type.
Hmm.
Okay, where you will select the purpose of the as moving, like you are issuing,
Hmm.
transferring, or receiving. So issue and receipt will be used. For example, like in our case, Hussein, like
Hmm. Hmm.
we give like laptops are given to one employee to another employee, right? When anyone
Hmm.
resigns, he will hand it over to another
Yeah, yeah,
employee.
yeah.
So
Correct.
in that
Hmm.
case, like they say, okay, we issued to this employee or received from this employee or something like that. Okay,
Hmm.
and transfer is basically you are transferring your asset from your one location to another location. So, for example,
Got
here
it.
I'll say, say office chair. So I'm
Hmm.
transferring from Mumbai location to say Delhi location. So I'll just create one more location and okay, and you also have from one employee to another employee. That will be
Hmm.
used in case of laptop
Transferring
and such,
from one employee. Hmm.
one employee to another. Okay, and there are other things here.
Hmm.
Okay, so this is a simple doc type, like just basic information, like you have transferred this chair from Mumbai to Delhi location. Okay, and any reference document type or you want to give that you can give it here.
Got it.
Okay, yeah, here people need like this GST and other things which is not currently available. That needs to be handled out of the system, because when you
Hmm.
transfer also you need to generate the e-way bill and GST and other things we have to do, but that is currently not
Hmm.
available.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah, so this is simple transfer document. Apart from this, we have other transactions also related to assets, like group assets
Grouped
already I,
assets we already saw. Yeah.
sale of assets, scrap of assets, and asset capitalization. Let me quickly show these two things, and then we'll move
Hmm.
to the asset capitalization.
Okay.
uh, so if you go to any assets, right, this asset we created just now, uh,
Hmm.
okay, it possible like I can scrap this asset, or I can sell this asset, or I can add the value in this asset. So all
Hmm.
these asset related transactions are available in asset doc type here,
Hmm.
right? One is the transfer
Event
of assets,
transfer. Yeah. Hmm.
scrapping. So you can do, if you
Hmm.
click on scrap assets, system will ask, do you really want? So then if you click yes, then it will ask you the few values, and then if you click that, there is related accounting impact will go. Okay, if you click
So
on
what
sell,
will be what will be the
yeah,
accounting impact in case of scrapping?
so scrapping will happen like your asset account will get credited with whatever amount, right?
Hmm.
And whatever amount you have received, that will be also shown as an income. So it might be possible the assets value was last in 10,000, but you sold it
Hmm.
at 15,000. So 5,000 was your profit. So it will go in
Hmm.
income account. 5,000 will go in income account, 10,000 will go in expense account, and 15,000 will show in your uh, total.
No,
So
no. So I don't know if I'm getting it wrong. Scrapping means throwing it away, right?
yeah, throwing it away, but like that depends on like, okay, let's, if you want we can do, I was doing the sales transaction, so whatever relevant
Hmm.
accounting impacts are there, it will happen
Hmm.
like,
Hmm.
I'll just like click on yes. Okay, assets scrapped. Okay, and this is general
Hmm.
entry got booked.
Okay.
Now you will see that general entry here. So this is showing as a gain loss of assets. Okay, we
Hmm.
scrapped it, and so basically the relevant accounting impacts will happen automatically. Okay,
Hmm.
the plant and machinery got credited with 1,10,000, accumulated depreciation got debited with uh, booking all the depreciation until 11th Feb, and your gain loss got booked with 16,000.
Hmm.
Okay,
So basically, we lost 16,000, right?
no, no,
We
no,
threw it away.
we lost, like we booked the expenses. Lost means
Hmm.
we booked the expenses for this
Got it.
16,000,
Got
and
it.
these expenses already got booked, one lakh
Got
three
it.
thousand through
Hmm.
depreciation.
So yeah, it's not loss. It's basically now we have
Expense. It is
somehow
expense.
materialized it to expense. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Got it. Got
Okay. Now similarly, say if I would have sold this asset at 1,50,000.
it. Hmm.
Okay. Now let's take the another asset which we have.
Yeah, we sell old laptops, right? So yeah.
I'll just quickly create one asset. I generally take for testing this round figure so that we understand easily, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
while doing testing and all these things, you, like best to
Yeah,
take
makes
these.
sense. So you can say round numbers
Yeah,
depreciating. Hmm.
yeah. I'll just do that. Yeah. Let's go depreciations for 1,20,000 assets. And now
Mm-hmm.
I'll do the sale of assets.
Hmm.
Okay, so now when you do a sale of assets, right, system will create a sales invoice. When you click on create sale of assets, system will redirect you to the sales invoice doc type, and here then you have to select the customer who is buying from you, right?
Hmm.
At what rate, like at what rate they are buying. So say I'll say at 1,20,000 only. Okay, and the GST and other things will get applied automatically
Hmm.
based on, right, because when you are selling you also have to apply the GST. So that's the reason
Hmm.
sales invoice you need to create.
So
Okay.
where is the asset link which we are selling?
Yeah, yeah, it will come. So
Okay.
that is already linked. Like if you go in detail section, let me check this. Okay, I'll show it in reference also. I'll just select the party so that TDS will not be there. So yeah, so when you click on sales, it redirects you to the sales invoice doc type,
Mm-hmm.
and sales invoice you have to create. I'll just remove this too for now. So we have already booked two depreciations, and we are
Mm-hmm.
still selling it again at 1,20,000.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh,
I'll
fixed
just
this.
check.
Okay, maybe the asset will be linked at delivery.
No, 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 not delivery. This is
Not.
already linked.
Hmm.
We are not, maybe we are not showing it
Hmm.
on UI, the
Hmm.
links. I tried checking the reference section where we are generally showing all links in read
Hmm.
only. But yeah, so now I'll just go here. status would be changed.
Scrapped.
Uh,
Oh,
so
sold. Hmm.
that was another asset. So this asset is sold now. Okay,
Hmm.
let's see the accounting impact here. The sales invoice. Okay, debtors will
Hmm.
like customer will pay you 1,20,000. Office
Hmm.
equipment account created with 1,20,000.
Hmm.
Accumulated depreciation is 1,03,000, and your gain loss is 1,03,000. I think yeah, because we sold it at 1 lakh. I think
100,000 only.
yeah, 1,03,922. So that is it is showing as our gain. So I think
Hmm.
out of 1,20,000, 20,000 got booked as a depreciation. So 1
Hmm.
lakh was
Hmm.
yeah. So this is our gain loss because we have sold at I think today 11th February. So that's the reason it is coming in fractions.
Hmm.
So this is how your like all the accounting related to scrap sale will happen automatically. So no need to
Hmm.
do anything. Like just what I'm trying to show here is this accounting happens automatically when you're doing anything from asset doc type, like sale of
Got
assets,
it.
scrap assets, and anything else. Like you can also do a repair. So what happens? Repair means like many times what happens? People do repairing and do some additions. So
Hmm.
I have a laptop. I have added some other additional RAM in that. So value of
Hmm.
my assets has got increased. So for that we
Hmm.
have the repair assets. So
Hmm.
like you can say what is the failure date, then what is the purchase invoice number, what is the repair cost. Okay, and then you can add that in your asset also. So that
Hmm.
is also there. New asset repair doc type is there.
So basically, it will increase the value, right? Value of
Increase the value.
the
Increase the
asset.
value. Right,
Hmm.
right. And then split of asset is for that group assets like chair we have, right? I'll just open that
Hmm.
chair.
Office share
This
in
one.
draft. Okay.
Okay. Now splitting means I'll just split these assets into 20 or 30, whatever quantity. So I'll just split in 20 and uh, yeah, this is depreciation, row depreciation, posting that cannot be. That is getting updated automatically.
I don't know. I'm feeling a bit tired today
Okay.
for
So this
some
is my
reason.
third call today. I take one training, then office hours, and this is my third call. I'm
Yeah, I was
like,
also attending the call from the office, so we had this all hands, right?
huh,
And before that, I was writing a blog the whole day.
yeah.
Yeah.
So splitting of asset is basically
Hmm.
that 50 assets you
Hmm.
can split in 20, 30, whatever numbers you want, and it will create
Got
another
it.
asset with the same like factor, like dividing the value and other things. Okay, so that is
Got
a
it.
splitting
Hmm.
of assets.
Hmm.
So yeah, and you can see the GLs of assets from here. Right?
Got it.
Now I'll
Hmm.
just show the asset capitalization. That is a new feature added in ERPNext, and then we'll see the
Hmm.
asset register. Okay. The
Got
other
it.
impacts like GL, profit and loss, balance sheet impact we have seen. So last two
Hmm.
things we let's quickly see. So
Yep.
asset capitalization is used when we are building some asset internally. Okay. So for
Hmm.
example, if I'm constructing a building, right?
Hmm.
I am buying say cement, steel. I'm buying some engineering service, architect service, interior service, other professional
Hmm.
service, right?
Hmm.
All these services, I would like to add the values of all these services purchase I have done in my building cost. Okay.
Hmm.
For that, we use a asset capitalization. Okay.
Hmm.
So what is the process? I'll just quickly show.
So how is it different from repair? Repair also we are
Uh,
adding some
no,
things
repair
to
you
the.
are doing addition in existing assets.
Hmm.
Here you are constructing a new building which is in WIP. Okay,
Hmm.
every day you are buying cement, different items, and then on
Hmm.
final day, like when your building gets ready, when you want
Hmm.
to add all this cost in your building cost, at that time you will add. So this is for new asset. That is
Got
for
it.
your existing asset.
Hmm.
Okay, so again here you will create an asset.
Hmm.
Like say I'll select the building. Okay, you have to select
Hmm.
this is composite asset. Is composite
Hmm.
asset means that is a WIP asset which you are going to
Got
build.
it. Hmm.
Okay, I'll select the location, and you can select the purchase date and other things if you want, or you can keep it open because this is going to construct,
Hmm.
like, so we'll add
Got it.
all these other values in this. So now this is just remember this account, this is asset in draft mode, and this is number is 20. Okay, now what will happen whenever you do purchase,
Hmm.
purchase of service, purchase of any stock items, purchase of any assets, right? It
Hmm.
might possible that within building you are fitting some lift. That is your
Hmm.
another asset. So which you are
Hmm.
buying as an asset, or you are using office chair or something
Hmm.
like which is
Hmm.
existing, like which is also asset. But that
Hmm.
asset will also get converted into building.
Hmm.
Okay. So so here you will select a supplier, the normal purchase invoice you will book. All for services, for inventory, non-inventory items. I'll just show it in one invoice only.
Hmm.
Say I've used battery.
Hmm.
Okay. I also have cement, I think, as an item. Yeah, I have cement. Okay, so say I bought some services from ACC only. This
Hmm.
supplier says that service was of 1 lakh, and I bought
Hmm.
this cement bags, 100 cement bags at 200 rupees. Okay, this is
Okay.
my inventory item. This is my non-inventory item. Both are
Okay.
going to be used for constructing this building. So what
Okay.
I'll here we see WIP composite asset, right? So here I will tag that.
Hmm.
Okay,
Got
and
it.
second item also I'll tag that
Hmm.
composite.
Hmm.
Okay, now I purchased one service and one
Hmm.
inventory item. So accounting would be normal, like
Hmm.
uh, of inventory and non-inventory item purchase. Okay,
Hmm. So in the chat, Tariq says, can you not use projects module to add a new asset, factory,
no,
and then
no,
capitalize it once the project is completed?
no. Project is a different module, different doc type. Will not use it for so.
Hmm.
So you need to create an asset. It's a different flow. Okay.
Hmm.
So here I will pay 1,20,000 to creditor. Cost of goods
Hmm.
sold is 1 lakh and stock in hand is 20,000 because that cement is my stock. That is my
Hmm.
inventory item. Okay. And this
Hmm.
is a expense account. 1 lakh I paid for whatever professional
Hmm.
service I took for the supplier.
Hmm.
Now,
Hmm.
when you go to this asset, right, this
Hmm.
20,000 asset, if you click on capitalize asset,
Hmm.
okay.
So
So
when again, I think I missed it. When does that button show up? Capitalize asset?
when you create this asset, like in draft mode only, it shows this capitalized asset. So idea is, so when
Mm-hmm.
you click on this capitalized asset, right? I'll just show.
Hmm.
So when you are right? We show this
Hmm.
button here, right? So when you click
Hmm.
this capitalize asset, right, it will redirect
Hmm.
you to the new asset capitalization doc type. Okay,
Hmm.
and system should automatically fetch all stock items where I've tagged this asset.
Hmm.
Okay, so that is the idea. Like this is but for now I'm just adding it manually. This will
Hmm.
get fixed this week only. I have reported this issue to this
Hmm.
company. So this will get booked. Okay, so
Hmm.
I'll just select
Cool.
here cement. Okay, ideally here ACC cement 100 bag should have come automatically.
Hmm.
Okay, that is what I was expecting. So
Hmm.
that is not coming because of some reason. So
Hmm.
like I just select the whatever expense account I want. So I just change the cost of goods sold account. I'm just changing the account type so that this account
Hmm.
flow there. Expense included in valuation.
Hmm.
Okay. So now cost of goods sold is coming here. Whatever like
Hmm.
1 lakh I paid, right? So I've
Hmm.
selected 1 lakh here. Okay,
Hmm.
now this, this asset will get created of 1,20,000.
Hmm.
Okay, and if I want to merge any existing asset into this asset, that is also possible.
Hmm.
Just adding that asset here in this
Got it.
existing asset also I can merge in this.
Hmm. Got it.
So this is your asset capitalization. Now this asset got created.
Hmm.
Okay, and with all the details like 1,20,000 and other. Now I can click on capital and I can start the normal process of assets.
Hmm.
So this is how your CWIP asset like building and other things you can construct.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
you can add all these assets like this.
Hey, Anup. So Anup says, while recording the purchase invoice, I guess we didn't tag the draft asset.
No, we tagged that is
Hmm.
not fetching right now. There is some issue. This
Hmm.
I faced last
Yeah,
week
in
also.
both the items, I think we fetched, right? In
Yeah, we
items,
fetched.
both the
We
same.
fetched.
Hmm.
That is right now I think some issue is there. So it is not fetching
Hmm.
automatically on clicking of that button. So I asked
Hmm.
team to give one new button fetch items so that
Hmm.
one more button would be there. Because when you click
Hmm.
on capitalize, right, it redirects to the asset capitalization doc type. Then we need one
Hmm.
more button there to just fetch. See here I have tagged this February.
Hmm. Hmm.
So there is issue and this will get fixed. So this I know.
Cool.
But for
Cool.
manually right now we can do it. Okay,
Hmm.
and this asset capitalization we can use to convert, like say I have two machineries, I have clubbed all two machineries, I created new machinery. For
Hmm.
such things also you can use as asset capitalization doc type. So multiple use
Hmm.
case can be handled through asset capitalization doc type. It's just
Makes
you are
sense.
converting new assets from this.
Hmm.
Yeah,
It's like a
like
repack entry, kind of.
yes, repack entry, right? So now let's see the fixed asset register. That is a report which you get like after doing all this transaction. This is a register
Hmm.
which like any company needs to maintain, like the
Hmm.
asset name, status, purchase date, available, like all these breakups. They need to like location, all other
Hmm.
information. So this we maintain using this.
Hmm.
Okay, like see, like asset category wise, asset location wise, all these filters are there. Like in
Hmm.
Delhi, how many assets are there? In Mumbai, how many assets are there? Like show only existing assets.
Hmm.
Like this, we have all these filters, and this is the asset register which you need to maintain, which any company needs to maintain, and so that's the reason we do all this asset module. Right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So this is assets module. Uh, one thing, like any, like whoever wants to do, like we have everything in documentation. You can refer the documentation and you can try it out in your site.
Maybe we can share the documentation. Let me
Yeah.
just pull
And
it
if you
up.
have any issue, if you are facing any issue, you can report through our support portal, or you can
Hmm.
report through GitHub. Our product team is dedicatedly working on asset model.
Hmm.
We are also adding new features also. So there are a lot of features are getting added, like this shift thing, right? This is also getting
Hmm.
added, and
Hmm.
some other new features are also team is working. So if you feel any generic feature is missing, you can
Hmm.
report it to GitHub.
Nice. So in the meantime, let me just share this documentation in the chat. Paste, share. Nice. Cool. So we have shared this in the chat. Nice. So yeah, I think this gives a lot of idea on the assets
Right.
module. So I think there is a refactor also going on, right? For the
Yeah, a lot
assets
of
module.
refactoring, a lot of new features are coming in. So that's
Hmm.
the reason I'm like asking people to test it out, report any issue, bugs they
Hmm.
are facing, or any generic feature they are feeling is missing. Report it
Hmm.
through GitHub issues or support portal, wherever, whatever you
Hmm.
are like using. If you are on Frappe Cloud, you can also
Hmm.
report it through support portal. So
Hmm.
that is what like people should use it. Like it, like
Hmm.
most of the things are already there, right? Which is
Hmm.
required basic asset related things. So it is there.
Hmm. Hmm. So once we get
And you
feedback,
can,
we can incorporate that and make it more feature
yeah,
rich.
right, right.
Hmm.
Even you can use it standalone module also. Like
Hmm.
if you can suggest any company to use only fixed asset module of
Hmm.
ERPNext. If they are
Hmm.
already using ERPNext for other processes, they can
Hmm.
add on using asset, or you can pitch in, like you can start pitching from asset side also if they are looking for any
Hmm.
solution for asset module. So
Hmm.
there, on that side
Makes
also
sense.
you can start. Yeah.
Hmm. So I had a question.
Yes.
So how many, what do you say? I think you might be involved with many implementations, right? Where assets module is involved. So
Right.
how does the implementation process look like in general, high level?
So asset is quite simple. Like
Hmm.
in 2 hours you understood, right? The end-to-end flow.
Hmm.
So same
Hmm.
way, like whenever you are like implementing for anyone, like just
Hmm.
understand their flow, and then
Hmm.
directly show it to them in ERP next, right?
Hmm.
Don't go for BRDs and other things. Like tell them like asset module is ready, available.
Hmm.
Let's start. Like tell me how you purchase your asset, and then
Hmm.
show them how purchase happens in ERPNext, how asset gets
Hmm.
created, how
Hmm.
depreciation gets created. We have pro rata basis depreciation,
Hmm.
then your depreciation gets booked automatically. If you want to do it
Hmm.
manually, this is your asset register. This is how you can do asset capital. When you show directly in system, right, it builds the
Hmm.
confidence in the end user. Like they feel
Hmm.
okay, lot of
Makes
things are
sense.
already there. Lot of things they
Hmm.
might not be knowing. CWIP thing they might not be knowing, or
Hmm.
asset capitalization they might not be knowing. So if you are
Hmm.
showing them like, these things are available, they will
Hmm.
start using it. So they will understand.
Makes
Like
sense.
so, like how we used to do the implementation, we never go to BRD. Like, okay, I ask, okay, how you do a purchase of assets? So they will say, okay, we raise a purchase order, then we buy
Hmm.
asset, and then we create asset. So I showed same flow in ERPNext. So they say,
Hmm.
okay, this is already there.
Hmm.
Nothing they have to customize or nothing they have to build or something, right?
Hmm.
So I
They may
think
only create opening entries directly, right? You may
yeah,
okay,
even
ask what is
opening
your
entries
current
they can
state.
create directly, right? So eighty
Hmm.
ninety percent things is already there. 80
Hmm.
90% things are already there. So just directly show it in system. Just open one site, show the flow,
Hmm.
show the how to
Hmm.
create assets in system, how to define the
Hmm.
depreciation. System has
Hmm.
straight line method, double declining method, written down
Hmm.
method, right? We have a
Hmm.
lot of things, right? And
Hmm.
just show them how schedule is getting created, and uh, So that will build the confidence, and they will understand the flows, and they will understand the system, and they will start using it, like at least
Hmm.
exploring it.
Makes sense. One last question from my side. Uh,
Yes.
so at what point, right? Like, so I assume accounting module is the first one to get implemented, then
Hmm.
maybe manufacturing, right? So when does asset come into play while implementation?
See, like I said, asset
Hmm.
can be a part of your core implementation also, like by when you are
Hmm.
doing the accounts, buying, selling, and core product, core module implementation, or you can
Hmm.
implement it separately also. Like after
Hmm.
doing all the modules implementation, once customer is gone live, you can
Hmm.
start implementing in phase two also. So asset
Hmm.
module you can implement in phase two also, or with the
Hmm.
core module also, or you
Makes
can
sense.
start directly asset module also, because it has nothing to do with your other modules, buying, selling, accounts, right? They can go
Hmm.
live, or they
Makes
can
sense.
start using asset module in any other site or any, right? And then once they are
Hmm.
comfortable, they can, like, you can move to them in the live site also. So
Hmm. Makes sense.
that's, yeah.
Using data import, you directly just migrate that part. Makes sense.
Yes.
Hmm. Yeah, I think we got a good understanding of how it works in. So yeah, it's fairly feature rich, but yeah, I think it will become a lot better over the year. We now have a
Yeah,
dedicated
no,
owner
it's
working on it,
it's
right? So,
lot better. Like group thing
hmm,
was not there when, like,
hmm,
when I used to implement. Like, this is all
hmm,
tested by me. Like one of the
hmm,
big e-commerce company came and
hmm,
asked for that feature, and we built
hmm,
it. So whatever
hmm,
generic in nature, we are building it, right? We are adding it.
hmm,
So that's the reason I
hmm,
asked people to use, explore, then
hmm,
raise a GitHub issues, raise a GitHub, and they, if
hmm,
they want to contribute anything, they can contribute. Like,
hmm,
so it's not, it is not there. It is half cooked or something. It is not
hmm,
80 to 90% or minimum require everything is there. Maybe
hmm.
one or two use cases would not be there, but I would say 90% thing is already there.
Nice. So yeah, audience, does anybody have a question or we can wrap? Already I have taken extra amount of time from Dipen.
Yes. No, no. Today is like I already
Huh.
conducted one training and officers and this
Mhm.
training, like continuously
Yeah, yeah, so
after.
it's like very hectic day. But yeah,
Yeah.
the other days that you suggested, like I'm traveling and then
Yeah. No, no,
some
no.
issues.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
So
thanks
yeah.
again, Dipen. I
Yeah.
think the audience has no more questions. But yeah,
Yeah.
do use the asset module. Raise GitHub issues if you face any.
Yeah,
Uh,
and share your feedbacks, what you like. Like, I hope you like the training, the
yep.
flows that I explained, I tried to explain. So I think this was the
Mm-hmm.
first training, like first
Mm-hmm.
something from uh Frappe side also. Like, this is like other
Mm-hmm.
modules were keep doing trainings and
Mm-hmm.
sessions. Like I said, I think this was the
Mm-hmm.
first. So yeah.
Yep.
Share your
Mm-hmm.
feedbacks, please.
Yeah, drop them in the comments and I'll forward them to Dipen as well.
Yeah, yeah. Please share your feedbacks in comments. I hope you
Yep.
like the training. Thank you, audience. Thank you,
Thank
Hussein.
you. Thank you, everyone. Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks, Dipen. Bye.